This is the video for lesson 5 in chapter 1. This is going to be the final concept or lesson that we do in chapter 1. This is the distributive property. Now, a lot of you are, once again, already familiar with the distributive property. So, once again, this might be a review. So let's think about what the distributive property means. Distribute. Well, let's think about what it means to distribute. Your teacher will distribute homework. Now, when your teacher distributes homework, she gives a homework assignment to each student in the class. Everybody gets a homework assignment or a worksheet or whatever. What else? When your mailman is distributing mail, everybody on the street gets their mail. So everybody is included. Everybody gets mail. When you go trick-or-treating with your friends or siblings and you go knock on somebody's door and they give everybody candy, everybody gets candy. One for this person, one for this person, one for this person. So when you distribute, it means that everybody gets one. Okay, so hand out or give out to everyone. Okay? So let's think about this for a minute. General properties for the distributive property. Now, you will know to distribute something if it is outside of your parentheses, okay? So here I have A outside of my parentheses, and think about it like candy, okay? I need to give a piece of this candy to Brian and his little sister Cassie, because if Brian gets candy and Cassie doesn't get candy, Cassie's probably going to start crying and freak out and tell mom and dad. Okay, so just remember when you're distributing that you need to distribute the number on the outside of the parentheses to each thing inside of the parentheses. Everybody gets one. Okay, so what this then becomes is A times B, which is AB, plus A times C, which is AC. Okay. So let's think of an example. If I have 2 on the outside and inside my parentheses I have X plus 4. What this means is I have to distribute this 2 to the X and to the 4. Now these lines that I'm drawing on top, if this helps you, you need to be doing this. Sometimes visually seeing something makes a lot more sense. Okay, so distribute 2 to the X, and that's 2X. Distribute 2 to the 4, and that becomes 8. All right, let's look at some more. Here I have A to B and A to C again, so I need to distribute AB. Now this time it's subtraction. Make sure you pay attention. So minus AC. Okay. Next, the A is on the right side of the parentheses. You can distribute to the left or to the right. It does not matter. So if we're going to be distributing this way now, it still needs to go to each term inside of the parentheses. So A to B is going to be AB again, plus AC, or you could have done BA and CA. Okay, same thing. There's a multiplication property that states that it doesn't matter which order you multiply 2 numbers in. All right. Here, same thing. We're going to distribute A to the B and to the C, so we'll have BA minus CA. Now, these last two look a little tricky because at first glance you might think, well, there's nothing outside here to distribute. Well, actually, there is. When there's just a negative sign here out in front, you still need to distribute that negative. It's kind of like saying this is a -1. Okay, now a lot of times the 1 won't be written because anything times 1 is just itself. So it doesn't matter what's in here. This could be 1,000,000 and this could be 2,000,000. If I multiply each one of them by 1, it's still 1,000,000 and it's still 2,000,000. Okay, so a lot of times the 1 won't be written, but we still need to distribute that negative sign, making that negative 1,000,000 and negative 2,000,000. Okay, so if I distribute this negative 1 to A, remember I said if that's 1,000,000, now it becomes negative 1,000,000. So this would be negative A plus, well, I won't say plus for long because when I distribute this negative, this makes it negative B. So plus negative B or negative A minus B, this is the same thing. Okay, same thing down here. Distribute that negative. Negative 1 times A is negative A. Then we're going to have a negative 1 times a negative. Well, we multiply 2 negatives together, they become a positive. So now this is negative A plus positive B. All right. So let's look at a few examples. Where do I want to start? Let's just start at the beginning. 107. Simplify each expression. I need to distribute what's on the outside of the parentheses inside. So negative 2 times x, negative 2x. And then when you distribute to a number to another number, make sure that you multiply them together. Don't just write out negative 2 times 2. You actually need to do that math, okay? So negative 2 times 2 is minus 4. Or you could say plus a negative 4, it's the same thing. Okay. Let's look over here at 108 because here, look, we've got that number out here to the side by itself and it's to the right side instead of to the left side. So we need to distribute it in to each one. So 3 times n is 3n. Now you could have put n3, like I said before, it doesn't matter what order, when they're being multiplied you're still going to get the same answer, but mathematicians like to see the number, or rather the coefficient, come first. Okay, so get into the habit of doing that, please. And then 3 times 10 will be plus 30. Okay, let's keep going. I think I'll do one more. Let's go down to 113. Okay. Now we have a negative outside that we're going to need to distribute in, but this time our variable is the second term, and that's okay. All right. So negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. Negative 3 times 3m. Okay, the variable has a number in front of it, a coefficient in front of it. So what do we do now? Well, this negative 3 and this positive 3 get multiplied together, and then the m just kind of comes along for the ride, I guess you could think of it that way. So negative 3 times 3 is negative 9, and then m comes along for the ride. Okay. As we go further into more chapters, we will eventually turn this around and put it in standard form. But for now, this is acceptable. Okay. I'm going to stop the video here. Make sure that you pick up for part 2. And don't forget to do these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these last 5 examples that I left for you.